Hey guys, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm your host, Jaelyn. I'm here with AJ.
Hello.
Uh, Fortunately, guys, I didn't have my mug, but I am a new area right now. I am currently in New Mexico. I am with my boyfriend's family. I'm here for just a few days. I'll be home on Tuesday, and then I'll be in Austin on Thursday for Thanksgiving. So I think by the time we upload this on Spotify, it'll be Thanksgiving. So
Hmm.
happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope everyone's having a safe travel and just being safe in general. COVID is still happening, guys. Don't forget.
Yeah.
It's not funny though. When we were going around shopping in New Mexico, we walked into one of the stores and they're like, mask. I was like, oh my God, I like totally forgot. Cause Texas mask mandates dropped. So
Yeah.
like, and it was funny because the person was like, where are you guys from? And they were like, we're like, Texas. They're like, yeah, that made sense. You're like, I'm vaccinated. So it's like, I'm not spreading to anybody, but yeah, we put our mask on. We're obviously going to follow the rules. But
That's good.
yes,
That's
so
good.
guys, today I feel like something I really wanted to like talk about and just kind of like been on my chest has been like relationships. That includes intimate relationships like boyfriend, girlfriend, um, work relationships, that's with your managers or your bosses or just even coworkers and even friendships, and how to like maintain that and still keep it with yourself. Like keep you, like don't change for other people type vibe. You know what I'm trying to say? So AJ,
Yeah.
have you ever been in an intimate relationship or had a girlfriend, which I'm assuming yes, of course.
Hmm.
What was your longest relationship?
Uh, Probably like 3 months, 3, 4 months.
Stop lying. Really?
No, I'm not kidding. Yeah.
So why do you feel like that relationship or those relationships, let me say plural, I don't know how many you had, but like why have
Hmm.
they not gone to a longer extent?
I don't know. I've heard from someone that said it's like, oh, once you get past the 3 months, then you kind of know that this person's gonna stick with you. I
Hmm.
definitely felt that because the first few months or whatever, it's just like very surface level understanding of this other person, you know?
Yeah,
But then slowly as just like life happens, you get to know this person even more and you're like, maybe
they're not
not.
right for me.
Yeah.
What do you find in a person, even in like a friendship or whatever type of relationship that you make with a person? What do you find in a person, pretty much like friendship or relationship wise? Like, do you base a lot of things off personality, like looks, like
Definitely.
what?
Definitely personality. I mean, looks kind of go into it because I mean, if someone's pretty well kept, their personality is going to fit that. Uh, and I guess if they don't really take care of themselves, their personality reflects that.
I even feel like sometimes there's a lot of people that are very much, because I feel like beauty fades in a way. So like I feel like
Hmm.
someone can look outwardly pretty, but then on the inside they could be really scummy.
Oh,
And I've
definitely.
known people that's been very beautiful. They're guys and girls, met people, but they've just not had the best personality. I think with friendships, obviously, no one's basing anything off looks. That's more based off, I guess, compatibility in a way. I feel like people don't realize, but like your friends could be your soulmates. Like that's maybe why
Hmm.
like you or like any other person aren't in a relationship, because your friend is currently your soulmate. That's the person that you're with, not 24/7, but they are the ones that are like keeping you together in a type of way. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I feel like
Yeah, no,
friends can be
I
so
see what you mean.
really. Oh, did you hear that? I don't care.
A little bit.
Sorry, Cowboys game's going on, so I told them I'm recording, so let's try to just ignore that, everybody. Um, but me personally, I have this. Sam is my first boyfriend. I've had other past, I guess I can call them relationships. They were never official. So the longest, like Sam is currently my longest guy, like boyfriend I've ever had, which is a year and 6 months now. But the past relationship before Sam, I was with a guy for 2 years. And
Hmm.
that's why I want to talk about making sure you stay true to yourself and make sure that you're valued in a relationship. So when I was 17, I did meet this guy. We're going to just name him Jay for just the story. So let's just say his name was Jay. Jay went to an opposite high school for me. We weren't from the exact same school, but we met through track. And he just asked for my Snapchat. I was like, okay, cool. Like, let's be friends. But then things turned to more getting to know each other. And then I used to go to his house a lot and hang out. But it was mainly just me and him hanging out. We never went out in public. But unfortunately, I did have a bad experience with him, and he did take advantage of me, unfortunately, especially at a very young age, at 17. And it was really draining for me. That was a hard thing I had to deal with. I think that was one of the biggest obstacles I had to face was, do I care about myself or do I care about this other person over me? And I feel like at that time when I was with him, I valued him more than myself. And so I really hope people understand that if you're in a relationship that is toxic, you can't put that other person first. I don't know if you've seen on TikTok recently, but have you heard about that ex-football player? I forgot his name, something Bear. It's been on my For You page, but he beat up his wife, beat him up, his baby mama, not his wife, baby mama, slung her to the ground. I'll have to send you it later, but I forgot his name exactly. He did finally get caught, but domestic violence is something that people face in relationships, and even happen. There's such things as toxic friendships. Have you ever had a friend in your past that just wasn't your right person, or they were just not overall good person, but it took you a while to realize that? Have you ever had an experience like that? Or even relationship, have you ever had an experience where you met somebody and they were just someone completely opposite that you thought of?
It's definitely harder when you're younger too, because then even if you sort of grow up separately and you're like, oh, but this is a childhood friend or something, it would just feel awful to cut them off, but you kind of have to.
Yeah, I mean, as much as it will hurt in that moment, the long run is what the bigger picture is. We all meet people in our lives for just either a lesson or someone that's gonna just flourish with us at the same time. Me and Carly have been best friends since we were 4 years old, and we've definitely had bumps in our friendship. Of course, no one's perfect, no friendship's perfect, no relationship's perfect, but it's all about if you're willing to work it for that other person. And I could say Carly is my soulmate. We're very much different, but we do balance out the good in each other, and we always miss each other. I mean, now she lives 5 hours away from me, so it stinks not to be able to see each other because childhood best friends. We grew up in the same town forever. We graduated not eighth grade. We graduated high school together, so it was you think oh, we're gonna be together forever, but reality hits. You become adults, and people start to come in out of your life. Lucky for me, we've been able to, stay in each other's lives for so many years, but not everyone gets that opportunity. What about high school? What was your friendships like in high school? Did you maintain anybody in high school?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of my friends in high school, I've always said, or I've always described my friends you have inner circle friends, outer circle friends. My inner circle friends was pretty close. We're still all super close now, but even outer circle people, I've never had any problems with anyone. So it was always real easy for me to make friends in that sense.
I can agree with you on that. It was easy to make friends for my sake. I was a very social person. I'm a social butterfly. I still am. I could literally just walk up to anybody and make friends. But I think high school was where I had it the hardest when it came to friends, because I feel there's a line of how you said, there's an inner circle, there's the outer circle. And I feel the outer circle people were the people that you just only saw at school, that you only hung out in school or school events. But you wouldn't be inviting your outer friends to come to your house. I could say that's the kind of friends I had. I had people that were cool with at school, and you can say friends, but they really weren't a friend because I didn't hang out with them. I didn't really talk to them on a day-to-day basis. I didn't really spend time with them. So I feel there's a difference in that. But you also have to find a line of there is a fine line when it comes to fakeness and a friendship. And when you're just being taken advantage as a friend, someone can be just using you for a car or using you for your money. Friends do that. Friends can easily do that. People do it to anybody. Using people is something that I feel like it's almost like second nature to some people. They just can do it without even blinking an eye. Like it doesn't even bother them. And it's unfortunate. And there's also people who just like follow other people, like especially when you have groups of friends. That's why I'm not
Hmm.
big on like girl groups because I feel like there's always those little cliques in the groups. So that always just goes south. It's
Yeah.
like being a part of Mean Girls. You know, Mean Girls, the movie. You had like the Regina and everybody, and even I think about like Heather's. Have you seen the movie Heather's?
Yes, I've seen the Heathers.
Yeah, it's like Heather's too. I think of like all the three Heathers, and then like Winona like in there. I'm just like that's the kind of
Hmm.
like friendships you don't want. You want to be around people that
Definitely.
are actually going to build you up and actually going to support you for you. Because I mean, I know I lost a lot of friends after high school because I think one, I was moving to Arkansas. No one wants to talk to somebody that's in Arkansas. Like, bye. Like you're leaving. Like everyone was going their own paths. So it's like, how are you like? That's my question. How can you maintain a healthy friendship or even a healthy relationship from being far apart, long distance wise?
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny you mentioned that because I feel like I talk to more outer circle people now that were not in
Mm-hmm.
school than before. And I think partly because of that is I've never had to go through the stages of like being fake in like or
Mm-hmm.
changing my personality to be around people. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's just like very it's a lot more real for others. So then
Yeah,
as other people kind of see me grow, they're just like, oh wow, this is actually AJ's like that 24/7. And it's just a
yeah.
little
This is how
more,
he is.
I guess it's more likable in a way, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you mean. So yeah, I can say the exact opposite for me. I felt like I was just trying to fit in high school. I was just trying to get by. I was trying to just get through it and not have any hard time. And I think that's what made my high school experience worse. I think I feel like if I was more
Mm-hmm.
true to myself, how I am now in college than I was in high school, I feel like my high school experience was could have been different. I mean, my senior year at the end of it was great, and that's when I did lose most of my friends. I had like two friends left, and I lost a lot. But my first 2 years high school were I think were my worst time because I feel like I was just being the worst version of myself that I didn't even like just for other people's sake, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think as a generation, we do suffer that. I think it doesn't help that we do have social media and you see people post and you see people doing this and that, and you're like, oh, dang, like they're great. Like, oh, like you kind of want to like be someone else for a second. So I feel like I call it code switching, which I use this word a
Mm-hmm.
lot, but I mean, everyone does it. Everyone code switches. You do it when you go to work. You can't use slang when you go to work. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like in a form
Yeah.
way that I was doing that with just how I was talking to people, but at the same time, I was also changing my personality. So I felt like a whole like it was just two different Jalen's, and it was just like, why am I doing this? Like, why are people so quick to like to do that? Like, do you know why
Yeah.
people?
So I've been thinking about that a lot before. So in my like Google Drive, I have a folder and it's just I
Mhm.
titled it things I think about. And anytime I have like a random thought that I just
Just write it
like,
down.
well, when I just like can't get it out of my head or the idea or something, I put it down on paper or I just like type it out. And so that
Hmm.
kind of helps me focus on normal things throughout the day and I'm just not getting distracted. And so that was actually one of the topics in one of the papers. And I feel like a lot of people, especially in our generation, have that problem. They're like, what is the real me? Since I have these different personalities with different friend groups and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
I really hate the way people describe it because that's how they describe
Yeah,
it. They're like, what there is no real me. I just mesh with whatever group I'm with. And I'm like, that is not true at all.
not true.
No.
Yeah.
So what I did is I sort of constructed this metaphor that I think better describes why we change personalities. And I
Hmm.
think of it as like a house, right? When you own a house,
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of rooms, and it's like, all right, this is my main bedroom, so I'm gonna decorate it in my favorite colors or something. Or let's see, I'll have pictures of things that I like if you like video games, you have pictures of video games, or if you're real close with your family, you have pictures of your family and stuff like that. But then you go to a different room and it's like, I really enjoy music. So this is like the music room, right?
Yeah.
And so you have all these different rooms of things you like, and they're just really more centered on one specific thing. That's kind of how I see as people's personalities with different groups. Because at the end of the day, if you really don't like that group, you can just not be a part of it
Part of
so
it.
much.
Yeah.
Same with like a room in a house. You don't like the way it's decorated, you just get rid of it.
Change it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I think that's the problem most people have, is that they're only looking at the one room that they're in rather than all the different rooms that they're keeping.
A fuller picture. And it is
Mm-hmm.
a struggle that people do suffer, is just finding themselves within friend groups and in a relationship. People tend to get lost within love with loving somebody. You
Oh,
can be
definitely.
so into them and you're like, oh, this person's the one, they're this. But then there's can be so many red flags, like simple stuff like I've known somebody that like, oh, my boyfriend won't let me wear this because like he thinks that I'm impressing some other guys. It's like, why do I have to change what I wear just to make him happy?
Yeah.
I personally can never do that. I'm sorry, if a guy ever told me you can't wear that, like literally, like what are you trying to be broken up by? Like you're gone. Like you should be able to love all parts of me. Like who cares
Mm-hmm.
of what these are just clothes. This is material. Like yeah, we
Yeah.
need it to keep warm, of course. Like it doesn't matter how we are. Like if I want to dress pretty, it's because I want to dress pretty for myself. I think even guys think that we like all girls dress up for like all the guys, and that's why girls do end up getting taken advantage of. And then you hear people a lot to say, well, if she wasn't wearing that, then that would not ever happen. That type of stuff. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what? No, we do this to make ourselves feel good. So if you have someone that you're in a relationship with, or even friends, there's friends that can be like brutally like rude. I think there's a difference between a friend be like, hey, like don't wear that girl like that, like that's not it. But there's a difference when teen someone just like making fun of you at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't even overlook that with your friends, guys. Like keep your eyes open type vibe, you know, because there are friends that can be just brutally rude and like
Yeah.
you need to like have a sit down conversation like, hey, like, because no one wants to do that with your friends. Like no one wants to like cause drama or anything like that. But sometimes you have to address the situation. Have you ever had to do that with any of your friends? Like you had to sit down and be like, I mean, I don't know how guys are with guy friends and everything. I don't know if it's anything different parallel to girls, because I've definitely had some sit down conversations with my friends, be like, hey, like how the way you talk to me, you like that hurt my feelings. Like you didn't have to speak to me that way, or like, what I'm saying, like, have you ever had to like deal with anything like that?
Not me personally. There are a few people I've known that have had to do stuff like that, but I have not really had
You're
to
kind of like
go. Yeah.
you're kind of like the
It's
mediator of your
Well,
group.
yeah, I was about to say I'm more of like the chill third party in most groups, I guess. It's just
I
because,
guess, how do you juggle your friends?
well,
That's
they
what I'm
already
saying.
know I'm gonna be honest, and sometimes I know that when I say something, it's like almost crossing the line or some stuff like that, and I'll just like immediately apologize. I'm like, okay, wait, that's not exactly what I meant, but I'm trying to say
Yeah.
like, those colors don't really match or something, or
Mhm.
I know what look you're going for, so that's why I said you're missing on it. I'm not really trying to insult them, saying like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you look terrible. Like,
Exactly. And I understand that a lot of people think like our society or our generation now, we're sensitive. And I understand that there's some parts of things that some people can't just take jokes. But I think there's like a
hmm
kind of a level with it type thing. It's like there's a way that you can go too far. And that's even within friendships or relationships. People can be really jokey and like, and that's how some people are. Some people, their way of being your friend or being your boyfriend is my humor is just, I'm blunt. And that's how I am. So you just gotta like find the right person at the table that you're able to mix with, or even if you find someone like that and might not like how you do it, you just have to like tailor yourself. Not even tailor, but just have a conversation and be like, hey, like this is my personality. Like I this is how my humor is. Like you shouldn't have to change yourself or even alter things. I think there's a difference between like changing and then just compromising. I think that's the real word is
hmm
compromising each other's personalities, be able to bounce off. Because like there's a thing everyone says, opposites attract, and that goes with anybody. There's always you're gonna meet people that are because I don't think I could be friends or even be like dating someone that was exactly like me. I know how I am as a person, and I am pretty wild. I have big energy, and I think I would be tired if I was my own
Mhm.
friend. I would get little like, okay, like let's have a moment of just like breathe. I feel like that's why I'm always attracted to talk to people who are introverts. I think that's how me and AJ's friendship and our work relationship through this podcast works is that we're two
Definitely.
different people, two different backgrounds coming together and compromising on a podcast. So I think you just need to know how to like find people that, you know, aren't exactly like you, kind of like branch out, like go
Yeah. I mean,
explore when it comes
and
to
like real ones will catch up on the little things you do. So you don't even really need to have to explain yourself.
exact. And that's another thing. It's like you shouldn't have to be like have to explain everything you do. That's just that would be draining. Like if you had to be like, oh, this is what I do. I do this. Oh, I did like kind of keep like on and
Hmm.
on. Like when you meet the one, and even that goes with anything. If you just meet the one, they're going to be able to accept you for all your flaws and how you are as a person. Because at the end of the
Hmm.
day, none of us are perfect. We weren't born perfect. Like we're humans. We mess up a lot. Like you can probably count on all your fingers and toes and cross your eyes, and you have all these mistakes that you've done growing up. But it all just builds you up as who you are today.
Oh
And I
yeah,
really hope that
definitely.
anybody who is struggling finding who they are, don't try to depend on somebody to figure out who you are as a person. Sometimes you
100%.
need to have that alone time. Like AJ, right now you're single, right?
Yep, definitely.
Ladies, hit him up. His
Yep.
ads in the
Application
bio.
is open. You can find it on Indeed.
Indeed. I'm just saying, like, what have you done while being single that's just helped you grow as a person?
Hmm. Let's see. Well, to start, uh, being single, a lot of people think, oh, so you're, looking for girls or you go out of your way to talk to girls or something. I don't operate like that. I'm more of a
Yeah,
patient, just kind of,
she'll come when she comes.
yeah.
She comes.
Well,
Yeah,
not really. It's just like, you know, going with the flow. So if we run into each other, then we run into each other. If we don't, that's fine. I don't
yeah,
care that
that can affect
much.
you.
Like it's, yeah.
Yeah,
And another thing I've learned is like you said, don't like, I guess, depend on people to find who you are, right?
hmm,
Because I feel like it's extremely dangerous when you think, oh, I'm unhappy. When I find me a girlfriend, then I'll be happy. It's like, well, that's
hmm,
really dangerous because if you find a girlfriend, it ends up being extremely toxic. Then you're going to try to associate, the toxicness with being happy, and then you're just stuck,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then when you break up, you're like, that was 10 times worse than it should have been. Where if you're happy
yeah,
on your own, then you get into a relationship, you'll still be happy. If there's problems and y'all break up, you still have yourself, right?
yeah, exactly. You still have yourself to back yourself up, and that I can definitely agree with that. Knowing myself and everything that I've been through, the moment I met Seb, I felt like I was already accepting who I was as a person. I was like, this is me. I'm not gonna change for anybody. So then when I met him, it just enhanced things. And obviously I am the happiest I've ever been dating him. But even then, like you said, if there was a case that we just didn't end up together or we weren't the people, because there are always people you can always meet the right person at the wrong time, or even vice versa. There's always time.
100%.
I feel like that happened to me when I was young. I feel like he was the he was definitely the wrong person, but at the right time. Because when I was in, that was junior year of high school. So junior year, I refound God. Like I was really just like enjoying myself, and I was loving myself more. So the moment I met him, I lost myself in that relationship. Like I lost me. I wasn't even myself. So that was the most toxic thing I've ever been a part of. Like I even had like I found a note on my phone that I wrote when I was with him that I wrote that you need to open this up if he does something again. Or like I wrote a note to myself. He's like, you need to leave him. He's toxic. He's not good for you. You deserve better. Like I wrote a whole note to myself. And I just not opened it like a couple weeks ago and I deleted it because I was like, I'm happy. Like, I'm great now. Like, I don't even need this note. But why did I not read the note when I was with the guy? Like, why
Yeah.
was I? People tend to be so tunnel vision in a relationship. Like, you're
Uh-huh.
just so focused on them. Just boom, they're there. Everyone else, you're got your blinders on when you're dating somebody. So you're
Mm-hmm.
missing all the red flags. You're missing all the cuts and you're missing everything because you're like, nope, I'm in love. Like, I'm fine. Like, it's fine. At the end of the day, it's not. Like, I've definitely have talked to AJ about my own personal relationship. I always have to come to a third party. Like, I need to come to somebody that can look into a relationship from the outer in.
From the
Cause
outside,
like I'm
yes.
gonna be blind. Yeah, I'm gonna be blind in any decision I make. Cause I love the man. So I'm gonna be obviously like, oh, like let's just say like whatever, he did something bad to me. I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna brush it off to the side because I love him. That's something he cares. That's why I do lean to my friends when it comes to advice. Cause they're gonna give it to me honest and they're gonna give it from the outside looking in. They're like, this doesn't look right, this doesn't look right. And it's all about, are you willing to take that advice?
Mm-hmm.
Because people do tend to pick and choose what they want to listen to.
Yeah.
But if you want to maintain something healthy, you have to work on yourself first at the end of the day. And I always say that to anybody. You have to love yourself first before you love anybody else. And I've
Mm-hmm.
always lived by that. I've always lived by that. Because it's not gonna work. If you don't care about yourself, how are you supposed to care about somebody else in a relationship?
Exactly. It's just gonna make things a lot more stressful.
A lot more
When
stressful. And then
yeah.
oh
When you're
wait, sorry, what are you
single,
gonna say?
definite like I recommend when you're single putting yourself in like slightly stressful situations. So
Yeah.
let's see, if you don't like driving in traffic, just drive at like 3 p.m., just the busiest time when everyone's getting off work. Just
Oh,
go to like McDonald's or something, but just drive during traffic. Super stressful. But then you slowly learn to manage all that. And you're like, this isn't so bad. Or if you're just like in class and you're really struggling, you're like, oh man, I really don't want to ask for help though. Ask a TA, someone not exactly a professor, but higher than a
mhm.
student, you know? So you just kind of get over these things because then when you're in a relationship, those mild stresses are going to be way worse because now you're
Yeah.
kind of, you have like this other person that's almost depending on you more. But
Mhm.
with that experience, you know, you'll be able to manage it a lot better.
Exactly. So I think today's big takeaway is just in a relationship or even not in a relationship, in a friendship, anything that you deal with, even at work, there's things that you have high stress moments and you just have to just own you and stay true to yourself with anything you do. I mean, even when you do interviews at jobs, you want to don't try to just switch yourself or change yourself for an interview. I mean, don't come in acting all crazy, of course. Be professional, but I mean, still stick to who you are because like people
Mm-hmm.
are gonna want to hire you more because you're likable based off your own personality. Not they don't want to hire someone that's given a false resume. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so that goes just with anything with life. Just stay true to you and just stick to who you are and don't try to change yourself just because this person wants you to change or they want this different. If someone truly loves you, you're going to have those moments or those fights or anything. And it's going to be tough, but it's all about just compromising and coming together and realizing, you know what? We both care about each other. We both want the best for each other. So let's keep moving forward and let's just get better together. Or even when you're single, you're going to have tough times through anything through life, even like, friends or trying to casually date, you're going to have stressful moments, but just stick to what you know and stick to you. And I think that's
Definitely.
the best advice I can give to somebody is just choose happiness at the end of the day. That's what you
Yep.
need. Choose
Choose
happiness.
happiness.
Alrighty, guys. So I want to thank everybody for tuning into our episode. So this has been tea time. I really wish I had my cup, but I'll just pretend for today. All right. Ready? Clink. Check out the mug. Bye, guys.
Bye.